Welcome back. Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on KCBQ 1170 The Answer. Joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall with Team Home Loans and Synergy One Lending.
Go!
And the biggest Charger fan in the studio right now.
I like when you call yourself a Chargers fan because a Chargers homer, that just sounds weird. You like to refer to yourself as a homer.
I am a homer.
All I think about when you say homer is Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I know. But it's funny. When I'm on the coaching field and I'm yelling at a ref or, an umpire, and I'm like, dude, you're making some homer calls. It's funny, the reactions I get. Some people have no idea. Like the kids are like, who's Homer? What are they talking about? And the refs look at me or look at each other and go, is that guy really calling us a homer? So it's just one of those things. I wasn't a big
and then
Homer
they have to
Simpson.
Google it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Homer Simpson guy, but I remember when it came out. I didn't really watch it a lot, but just homers is just something, one of those slangs that Mr. Hall has had many, many years in his vocabulary. And again, it's a small vocabulary for Mr. Hall.
We grew up in East County. It's understandable.
And I live back in now in East County.
East County.
Also today in studio, Adam Ada with Ada Flooring. We're talking a little bit about some of the flooring trends. If you want to reach out to Adam, learn more about some of the flooring options available to you. If you got a job you want to have him bid, shoot us a text or give us a call, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. We'd love to connect you with Adam. He can get out there, check out your job, whether you want to do some nice carpet, some tile, some vinyl. If you got a floor, he'll lay it. So
That's right.
Adam is your man for that. And also in studio today, we got Mr. Anthony Finney with iServe Residential Lending. And before the break, I teased that there were 4 breweries here in San Diego ranked in the top 50 in the nation. And Adam and Anthony's ears perked up. I saw these two guys get very, very excited. So, Jason, I know you don't drink.
Yes, I am not a drinker, just a personal thing. And, I'm 45 years old and never been drunk and don't plan on it. And it's just one of those things. Growing up as a kid, I saw some crazy stuff. So as a control freak
Mostly
type of
from
person, from Anthony, from others, I just said, you know what? I am just going to avoid that. I have enough other issues in my life. Again, ask my wife. And so I'm avoiding drinking tons of alcohol. So I have a few sips here and there. You've seen me drink a few.
A few? Yeah, we get you a nice Chardonnay or...
Yeah, some you guys always give me the fruity drink because, I just don't like the taste of beer.
People that don't drink like is fruity drink.
Anything with an umbrella.
Yeah.
I just don't get the taste of beer. It's never something I've my entire life. Maybe it's because my stepfather, when I was about 8 years old, handed me a beer while we were driving down the road. No joke.
Ooh,
All right,
nice.
this is Con's dad that you guys know well, Brian and Kyle and Anthony. And at 8 years old, man, that thing tasted horrible. And so I just had something weird in my mind. So
it's not a bad thing.
But literally driving down the road, drinking his beer. Hey, son, why don't you try this? Again, welcome to East County, guys.
Nice.
Grandpa tried that on me, too.
Love
Grandpa.
it. So, guys, for my 2 beer connoisseurs over here, or as Brandy and our ops would call them, connoisseurs.
The brandingisms.
Oh, yeah, gotta love brandyisms. So what 4 breweries do you guys believe ranked in the top 4 in the entire nation, all based here locally in San Diego?
Well, there's Stone Brewing, there's BNS, there's...
Stone was number 9. That's the highest ranked one in all of San Diego.
Ballast Point.
Ballast Point, that was my next.
Ballast Point
I've never even
ranked.
heard of Ballast Point. What is Ballast Point? Where's it at? I don't even know.
It was Sculpin and Yellowtail. Yeah. Their main one is Sculpin.
What's Sculpin?
It's a very hoppy beer.
Ballast Point, number 31.
So what number did they end up on? What number did they end up on?
Ballast Point was 31.
You said.
No, but out of San Diego. So
Number 2.
Number 2 in San Diego.
yeah.
Ballast
Okay,
Point
thank
was
you.
number 2.
How about
Nice.
Green Flash?
Oh, is there 3 or 4? for
Number
San Diego?
4 in San Diego, number 48 in the nation. That leaves 1 left.
All right. Is it the one down there in PB or Bay Park? What's that one called? That's too smaller.
There's Arrogant Bastard, there's...
Well, Arrogant Bastard is from Stone.
Stone.
Oh, okay, my bad.
One more. Let's go, beer drinkers. Who are the other? What's the other one? Big brewery in San Diego. They have restaurants.
Carl Strauss.
Okay,
Boom. Got it. Carl Strauss, number 3
That's
in
the one you
San
said you liked,
Diego.
Anthony, right?
That's the one I.
He didn't
that's the
think
one,
it would have made the list.
It usually
We
doesn't
talked about
because
it at the break.
it lately has not been popular at all.
Well, here's
but
the thing.
it always is for me.
They've been struggling to keep up with production. Beer has become such a huge trend across the country. They're actually out scouting locations for a new production facility and
Carl Strauss is.
world headquarters of where they want to basically build their business out of, which they're here locally in San Diego.
So they're headquartered here in San Diego. Carl
They are
Strauss.
here in San Diego, yes. They actually have multiple restaurants all over the county, and they have some pretty awesome beer. There's a little birdie who told me that there's a nice plot of land out in Santee.
In your neck of the woods?
That Karl Strauss may or may not be in talks.
So that's what we were talking
Of
about the other
taking
day.
over.
A couple weeks ago, we had
Does it
some
have
of
a
the people.
floor in it?
It might need a floor.
We know some good flooring guys, right?
Adam's
there, Adam?
jumping in. What kind of floor could we put in there? Ooh.
Yeah.
So there are some talks. No confirmation yet, but Karl Strauss is looking for a location, and I hear there's a location available in Santee.
Well, apparently there's some definitely beer drinkers out here in Santee. Looking at you, Kyle.
There are some beer drinkers. There
Just
are
a couple, three.
three
Yeah.
breweries in Santee open and operating right now, and there's
Wow.
a fourth brewery opening up here. It's actually already open, just not open to the public yet, but it's already in production, called Pacific Islander Beer Company, that's going to be opening up here in the next couple months. So
Wow.
there'll be 4 breweries just in the city of Santee alone. So it's
Manzanita.
yeah, Manzanita Brewing. You've got Butcher's Brewing, BNS
Yes.
Brewing and Distilling. It's a big scene in East County. There's most of the breweries are kind of central in the Miramar, Mira Mesa area because there's a lot of big office and industrial buildings there. But Santee has become somewhat of a hotbed for brewing.
It's growing up.
Well, let's speak to some of these beer drinkers. See what's going on over with Anthony at iServe Lending. Anthony, what do you guys got going on? Any niches that you want to share with our listeners?
Not a lot of changes, just a lot of production this month for everybody. So, it was a little chaotic this month for everybody. But
In production, I mean, you guys are doing a lot of loans, and part of that is because rates are low, so we're seeing not only a lot more refinances, and if you need to lower your rate, reach out to Anthony, and he can help you do that. But also, we're seeing a lot more purchase activity, right? Is that what you mean by production?
Yes. Purchase activity is way up versus what it was at the beginning of the year. Everybody was starting to get scared. And along with the refi market, the fact that most people thought it was dead, when the rates went up last month and then all of a sudden they stabilized and came back down to where they were. So that kept that alive a little bit longer. And they're predicting that it'll still go over another 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, and the market, the mortgage market rallied again today. So if you're listening out there, rates are they're getting close to all-time lows yet again. We keep seeing it pull back and then rally. So today was a good rally. So if you haven't refinanced or bought a house today, I mean, rates are literally unbelievably smoking. They're definitely back down into the mid 3s. We don't like to quote exact rates because every situation is a little bit different. I know you think you can just go and pump gas and everybody pays the same, but on a mortgage, it's a little bit different, right, Anthony? Because lenders are required to look at loan to values, right? Credit scores.
And not just credit scores, but what's on the credit.
What's on the credit. But all that impacts the pricing, right? And so we all want the best, lowest price. And most of the loan people out there will tell you, yeah, you will get that low price. And then when you apply and they find out your credit score is only 739 and not 800, and that your house is only worth 400 and not the 500 they estimated, now reality sets in and they, give you the real pricing that you or I probably would have told up front because we set those expectations. But I know one unique thing you guys do is you guys are willing to go down how low of a FHA FICO score?
We don't have a FICO requirement. We like to tell everybody 580.
But there's no true minimum.
But there's no
right?
true minimum.
And that's because
if everything else is there and it's a loan that's doable, I mean, we're going to look at the credit hard on those. But if we think that it's a loan that you can do and make and all that stuff, we make sense and we're going to do it.
And you're able to do that because what most listeners don't know, and even most loan officers who call themselves loan officers don't know, FHA does not have a credit score requirement to fit into FHA. Again, FHA is the Federal Housing Administration loan. It's a government-backed loan, came out during the Great Depressions, really helped every recovery we've ever had in the real estate market. And I know there's still a lot of FHA loans being done today, but FHA has no minimum credit score. Now, all the banks do, all the investors do, and that's what's called an overlay. But one of the unique things you guys have at iServe is you really don't have a credit score requirement for FHA, you're saying?
Correct.
All right. So what you're saying is you really look at the credit. So, it has to make sense. You can't have a bunch of crazy lates, which does impact the scores. But, people, give us an example of some credit scores that are maybe in that 580 range that you guys were able to help buyers in the last few months.
Usually it's something along the lines that they've, had some defaults in the last few years, didn't reestablish enough trade lines to get it back up, so it can't respond and give them the true score of what their last 12 months or 24 months of history represents because they haven't established that through the trade lines or they've established somewhere else. But yet they've earned money enough that they've saved money. They were due diligence. Some people that get into trouble like that, they don't go out and run up new credit cards.
Right. Well, they don't know how to take advantage of the credit scoring system. They don't understand it.
Right.
They've had a few problems, and so they just go, you know what? I'm not going to use my credit cards anymore. I'm not going to apply for any car loans. I'm not going to do anything. And then their score stays low, right? Like what you're saying.
Exactly, because they're not utilizing that credit out there.
And
but
that's
they're
what
using it.
most consumers don't understand. You actually only get credit for recent stuff. The most weighted stuff is stuff you've done in the last 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. So if you're doing no activity on your credit, you're not getting any credit, and your score is not going to move. It's going to stay low. And that's why it's important to get with a good lender who understands it, and if needed, can refer you to a good credit person if that's what you need. But you guys actually will look at the credit, see if it makes sense, see if is there what would their true credit be? Are they really a make sense loan?
Correct.
All right. So what other stuff? What about VA? Do you guys? I know VA doesn't have a minimum score either. Do you guys set an overlay on VA?
No, we actually don't even really have a score written in our guidelines.
Nice.
On VA, so we're really looking at the qualifying factor and the true VA guideline.
I love hearing that, man. As a lender, that is awesome. You guys are just looking at that veteran. Hey, what's the situation here? What's your credit history? We're not going to look at the score. We're really going to look at your situation, see if you really deserve a loan. But if you had a bunch of credit issues, you're probably not going to get it. But if it makes sense, you guys want to look at that, where the big banks at 640, 660, I believe I got to have 620, but you guys don't even set that. So that's awesome.
Well, we look at it in a way, it does affect your rate or something like that when you have that. So I don't want to have the misperception that we don't look at it at all. It does have some bearing in the case, but we're not going to judge you, as far as qualifying or not qualifying based on that.
Right. So you're not going to just look at the score and go, oops, you don't qualify.
Right.
But a lot of lenders do. And Kyle, I know we're getting ready to go to break, but any more questions you got for Mr. Finney?
Well, again, you're listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on KCBQ 1170. We're talking with Anthony Finney with iServe Lending. If you want to reach out to Anthony, learn a little bit more about some of the unique things they can do at iServe that some of these other big banks, if you're just walking into your normal bank where you keep your money trying to get a loan from them, they're going to be very, very restrictive when it comes to what types of loans they can do. And that's where Anthony and iServe Residential Lending come into play, is they can really do things that some of the other banks can't, especially those of you guys that maybe don't have the best credit. Some of these big banks, if you walk in there, you don't have a 720 or higher score, they're just going to, turn their nose up at you and walk away. So if you do have some issues, you want to sit down with a lender who can make things happen that a lot of other lenders can't. Reach out to us, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. Would love to connect you with Anthony over at iServe Residential Lending. I know he will take good care of you. He's taken care of a lot of good clients of ours in the past. We're going to head to a break here on Whissel Wednesdays. When we get back, Jason, let's talk about the real estate market. What's going on now that we are officially in the spring
And I have a special
season.
offer I want to put out to the listeners. So if you're listening, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Whissel Wednesdays on KCBQ 1170.